Nerd gets kidnapped and forced to take part in a battle royale game, but he turns out to have the strongest SS rank abilities. Akira is a high school student with only two things in the entire world that he loves. The first is games, and the second is candy. His room is messier than my life, and he is a total loser without a girlfriend or friends. Hey warriors, how is it going? You see me, I am Itachi Uchiha, the hidden Hokage of Leaf Village. Just kidding, you know I am just an AI, but behind this shape, I am here to entertain you with enormous amazing recaps of all animes you can imagine. So without talking too much, let's dive in our story.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world.
Nerd gets kidnapped and forced to take part in a battle royale game, but he turns out to have the strongest SS rank abilities. Akira is a high school student with only two things in the entire world that he loves. The first is games, and the second is candy. His room is messier than my life, and he is a total loser without a girlfriend or friends. This does not bother him anyway, because his games are his #1 priority. He keeps playing Tetris on the way to school too, and as he is waiting for the light to turn green, a menacing giant man wrapped in bandages suddenly shows up in front of him. He stares at Akira with bloodshot eyes and hits away a truck that blocks his view. The mummy bastard rushes towards Akira and attacks him within 5 seconds of their eyes meeting. Akira dodges the attack somehow, but luckily there is a bicycle near him and he uses it to flee. However, the mummy is targeting just him and he can easily keep up with his speed. Akira panics, wondering what he should do when he suddenly realizes that this condition is exactly like a game. He will lose if the mummy bastard catches him, and he just needs to stop him to win the game. He first goes to an abandoned building to gain a geographic advantage. The building is old and crumbly, and the big brute has difficulty walking through the floor that breaks under his weight. Suddenly, the mummy begins leaping over the collapsed floor like a frog, and Akira decides to treat this as a horror survival game. He finishes his preparations to deal with the mummy soon and lures him to the rooftop. There, he had already laid out a trap, and the mummy gets caught in it. Through a simple mechanism, the giant overhead water tank falls on the mummy, and Akira believes that he has won. However, the mummy is still alive, and he leaps at him. Next, Akira uses his momentum to pierce his chest with a steel pipe, letting blood spray out everywhere. He is happy that he won when suddenly, a cat girl in a suit appears behind him and congratulates him for killing her pet and surviving. Akira is not able to even register her in his mind, and the girl tells him that he did well earlier, but this is an unwinnable fight for him. 5 seconds pass since they met, and the girl blows off Akira's arm and side without warning. He falls to the ground, saying that if this was an unwinnable fight, then it means that this is a turning point in the game. He is profusely bleeding, but believes that as long as he has not gotten a game over, he can still win next time. The cat girl tells him that he is right and that the fun is just beginning. She walks away with that, and when Akira opens his eyes again, he finds himself in a strange hall with many other people. He wonders what is happening as he notices that he has been handcuffed and that the injury he received earlier isn't even there. Just then, the cat girl performer makes a dazzling entrance on the stage. She introduces herself as Mion, their navigator, and then tells everyone that they have been selected to take part in a grand project. She declares that all of them are pronounced dead in the real world, and everyone is shocked. She's about to explain more when a rude guy climbs on the stage and tells her to send him home this instant. Mion just smiles and thanks him for his assistance before she suddenly blows a hole through his body. Her hand has been turned into a cannon, and she cheerfully explains to the panicked crowd that this is her special ability. Everyone here has also been given some sort of ability which they will use to take part in the project. Mion then explains that their handcuffs stop the use of their abilities, and when the red light on them turns green, they will unlock in 5 seconds, and they can use their abilities then. The next rule is that killing and harming others are allowed. Mion asks if anyone has any questions, approaching Akira first. She then asks a nerdy girl the same thing and then moves to a delinquent. She tells everyone to feel free to ask questions, and a big burly guy named Shin asks her about this place and the project she is talking about. Mion says that she cannot answer those questions, so Shin asks her why she killed the man earlier. Mion says that she is a bad person who likes killing people, but the redhead OnlyFans model believes that she had planned to kill that person in advance to show an example to everyone. Mion admits that she is smart, and she turns to the next person. This time, a girl named Yuri asks her why she chose them specifically. Mion just says that they were all selected at random, and the girl finds it hard to believe. Just then, Mayon's assistant comes there to say that the briefing session is over, and everyone will be led to their rooms now, where they can take time to relax and try out their abilities. Akira enters his room, thinking that this really seems like a game. He finds a letter on the table along with a box of candies. The letter tells him that the room has all the daily items and things they can use their abilities on. There is also a separate sealed letter that reveals details about their abilities. Akira opens the sealed letter, and the truth about his ability stuns him. He wonders how he can even use his ability, but then gets sidetracked by the candies. Suddenly, the room rattles, and Akira realizes that someone else is using their abilities. He thinks about the opponents he can face in the battle, and figures out that, according to Mayon's instructions earlier, they are free to kill each other. Soon, the first program begins, which is one-on-one duels between the participants. Akira enters a classroom where he finds the delinquent boy, Madoka, waiting for him. Madoka tells him to give up as soon as the fight starts if he doesn't want to be severely hurt by his dangerous ability. Akira refuses, saying that he won't back away from a game. Their handcuffs turn green, and after 5 seconds they can use their abilities. Madoka rushes towards Akira, and the stick in his hand transforms into a sword, which he cleanly slices through the blackboard and furniture with. Akira keeps throwing the desks at him to distract him and mixes a duster in between, creating a smokescreen that allows him to run away. Madoka follows him inside a dark lab, and Akira throws a lamp at him to distract him, then uses a makeshift blowtorch to take him by surprise. However, Madoka manages to disarm him and begins thrashing the room while searching for him. He believes that Akira is hiding because his ability might be unhelpful in battle, but he steps up to say that it is the exact opposite. He explains that his ability is too dangerous, which is why he doesn't want to use it. Madoka refuses to believe him and charges at him recklessly. Akira suddenly takes his hand out of his pocket, revealing a feather, as he says that his ability is to turn his hand into a cannon. Madoka suddenly recalls what Mayon did with that ability earlier, and how there were feathers involved. In the moment he hesitates, Akira turns his hand into a cannon and shoots him away. Madoka is injured and slammed against the wall, and the sword turns back into a wooden stick as it leaves his hand. Akira points his cannon at him, asking him to surrender, and Madoka decides to give up. Mion was watching this from the control room, and she applauds Akira, who is definitely her favorite contender. Her assistant asks her why Akira used his cannon so late, and she reveals that his ability is not to turn his hand into a cannon. Mion says that what Akira did earlier was just an illusion, and he used her for it. Earlier, when Akira opened the letter containing details of his ability, he found that it was called sophism. Basically, his ability is whatever the other person thinks it is. That is why he purposefully dragged out the battle against Madoka, and led him into a situation where he would believe the lie that his ability is a cannon. Akira leaves the test room after that, escorted by 2 guards. He keeps walking ahead, single-mindedly thinking about how else he can use his ability, and he doesn't even notice that Yuri kept staring at him as she passed him by. The next challenger is Yuri, who is a high school student too, who hates random coincidences. Her mom had her with a random guy by coincidence, and she blamed her for ruining her life. The alcoholic mom barely took care of her and kept bringing random men from the bar as her boyfriends. The latest man even had a daughter, and Yuri's mom expected her to take care of the girl. Yuri didn't want that at first, but when she found that the girl was a victim of neglect and abuse, she decided to act like her older sister. However, she was dealing with enough problems on her own. In the past, she had helped a bullied boy, but by random bad luck, he turned out to be a creepy stalker. The day before she ended up in the project, she accidentally saw the stalker trying to jump off a tall building. She could not stop herself from running up to the building to save him, but he took it as a divine sign that they were connected by fate. Yuri climbed onto the other side of the railing to rescue him, but the stalker was a total nut job, and he simply grabbed her arm and jumped down the building, dragging her along. That was how she died in the real world and ended up in the project. Yuri sees all this in a nightmare and wakes up screaming. She was hoping that when the dream ends, she will be back at home, but she is disappointed to find herself in this strange room. She tries kicking open the door to her room, claiming that it is not even funny that she was selected to take part in this bizarre project randomly. She wants to go home to help her new stepsister, but there seems to be no way to do that. She falls on her bed and then suddenly realizes that she has an ability too. She opens the letter to figure out her ability and hits the wall with it, creating the tremors that shook Akira's room earlier. Yuri is amazed by her power, and she thinks that it may help her get out of this place by breaking the door. However, the door is sturdier than she imagined, and she fails to break it. Soon, her partner for the one-on-one duel is decided, and she finds that it is a buff, ugly bastard straight out of an NTR manga. He ain't an ugly bastard just by looks. He can tell that Yuri is a virgin just by sniffing her from 10 feet away, because that is the ability he received. He begins approaching Yuri, and the countdown reaches 0 just as their cuffs are removed. Yuri lands a solid roundhouse kick to the ugly bastard's face. The joke's on her because he likes it, and the disgust and hatred Yuri feels seeing his reaction only strengthen him. He even takes off his pants to creep her out even more, and then breathes in the feelings of disgust, fear, and shame being released by her to grow stronger. He rushes towards Yuri and manages to place her in a chokehold, talking about his shit ideas involving high school students. He says that it was such a great coincidence that he got to face a high school girl in the first round, but that rubs Yuri the wrong way. She has had enough of coincidences ruining her life and ugly bastards doing what they please. She grabs the man's hand and crushes it with brute force, causing him to scream and wail. She then hits the ground to kick up some dust and moves behind the ugly bastard to knock him out with a barrage of powerful attacks. This was thanks to her ability, Demon Ruler, that allowed her to increase all her physical abilities by 5 times. Soon after that, Akira wakes up with a security guard at his door, who tells him that it is time for his next program. He is sent into a room where Yuri, Shin, Madoka, and Monkey Face are waiting for him. Just as Akira enters, Mion explains that the second round will be a 5-on-5 team battle, and it will start in 2 hours. That is all for the explanations, and no one is satisfied with it. Akira thinks that if they have to work as a team, they must reveal their abilities to each other. Since Madoka has seen him use the cannon, he must surely believe that his ability is the same. However, Akira wonders if he should reveal his true ability for the sake of the team. Suddenly, Mr. Monkey Face takes charge of the room. He introduces himself as Sawa and shows that his ability is to create a rope from a button. Yuri is grossly disappointed in him and proudly reveals her ability. Madoka does the same, and Sawa is jealous of them both. He then asks the gym bro, Shin, about his ability, and he replies that he can apparently become invincible for 2 seconds, but he doesn't plan to use this ability that was planted in his body without his permission. However, he is a pro wrestler and knows how to fight. It is Akira's turn next, and he decides to keep his true ability a secret, so he tells everyone that he can turn his hand into a cannon like Meian. He thinks that revealing his true ability to the wrong people can lead to his death, and that is a risk he is not willing to take with this bunch. Sawa wants everyone to show their abilities as well, but Akira suddenly asks Madoka if he is feeling fine after the last battle. Sawa gets carried away with the flow and asks Madoka if he lost the previous battle. He tells Monkey Face to back off and reveals that right after the fight he was given some treatment, but it was only some bandages and painkillers. Everyone starts talking about how the healthcare here is like America, but Akira is glad that he could prevent showing his abilities. He doesn't even know if it will manifest in front of his allies because it was worded quite weirdly in the letter. That is why he wants to use the team battle to fully experiment with his power. The time for discussion is over, and they soon head out to the second round. Sawa suddenly gets serious and tells them to use any chance they find in the team battle to kill their opponents. He says that they can't trust the enemy to go easy on them as well, so it is best to reduce competition to survive. Soon they come to the ring for the second round, where they have to fight against the members of the enemy team in one-on-one duels. First up is Sawa versus the redhead, the model Ren. He is not happy that the second round is not a team battle but an individual battle, and Akira agrees. He realizes that the whole team event ploy was to get them to reveal crucial information to people who may harm them later. Sawa and Ren are in the ring, and as their cuffs are off, Ren immediately requests that Sawa forfeit. She tries to charm him with her sweet words, but he doesn't trust her and thinks that she is hiding something under the loose clothes she is wearing. Ren just takes off the loose cloak to reveal the skimpy outfit she was wearing when she was brought here. She promises to reward Sawa with her body if he lets her win, and though he is tempted, he refuses to take her offer. He acts like his ability is super dangerous, and he doesn't want to use it on a woman. That is why he suggests that they settle the matter with a coin toss. Ren agrees, and Sawa tosses the coin. In the moment his eyes are not on her, she suddenly attacks and pierces his body with sharp blades. Sawa falls to the ground and loses the fight, and no one is able to figure out Ren's ability. The medics come there, but they find that there is no way to save Sawa, so they just plan to dispose of him. Yuri tries to help, but Akira stops her because it is already too late. Madoka calls Sawa useless for letting his guard down at the last moment, and Yuri takes offense to it. Even Shin tells him to take his words back because he cannot insult a comrade who died in the ring. Akira realizes that their team is falling apart, so he intervenes and says that they can sort out their feelings about this matter later. For now, they have to focus on the game. Just then, the next participants are announced. Shin is going to fight against the nerd, Ringo, who seems very relaxed and confident as she comes to the arena. Shin plans to quickly throw her out of the arena without harming her to avoid losing like Sawa. He rushes towards her as soon as the cuffs are off, but stops as Ringo raises her hand. He fears that she is going to use her abilities, but she just forfeits, shocking everyone. Ringo's ability is to copy a fraction of the abilities of others, and she tried using it on Shin too, but since she felt no difference, she could not figure out what it was, so she decided to forfeit, knowing that she couldn't win against him. Ren doesn't take this kindly and begins rattling her because she doesn't want to lose because of her teammate's mistake. Another girl named Seko stops Ren, saying that she will win the next round and turn things back in their favor. Her opponent is Madoka, and as soon as the handcuffs are released, she pulls out a slingshot and shoots a marble at him. She believes that she will easily win now, but Madoka hits away the marble, which suddenly enlarges and turns into a wrecking ball. He then turns his stick into a sword and charges at Seko, who keeps throwing marbles at him, but he dodges them all. She enlarges the last marble before Madoka can deflect it, but he simply slashes it in half this time. The truth is that his ability is not just manifesting a sword, but a sword that can cut anything. Seko is terrified that she has to fight someone with an incredible ability and incredible reflexes, but she cannot even forfeit because Ren keeps giving her death stares. Madoka nicely asks her to surrender now, but she is too scared of Ren to do that. So she decides to go all out and toss all the marbles in her pocket at him. Madoka keeps on dodging as the marbles enlarge, but he soon finds himself surrounded on all sides. The girl declares that she will use her last marble to take him down, but Madoka slices it too. However, she was just lying earlier and she has another marble aimed at him. Before she can shoot, her slingshot is cut, and she falls to the ground. She realizes that Madoka had another hidden knife that he threw at her, but he simply reveals that while he was covered by the giant marble, he broke his stick and turned both parts into separate weapons. He then approaches Seko and asks her to surrender while he is asking nicely, but she just mutters that the fight is not over yet. Madoka suddenly spots the spare marble that left the girl's hand earlier right under his feet. Before he can react, the marble enlarges and crushes both his marbles. He faints because of the pain, and Seko wins the round. Next up is Akira versus the average Joe from the other team. While Shin and Yuri tell him to win at all costs, he doesn't plan to work too hard for it. He is certain that even if their team loses, they won't be killed, and the penalties they receive won't be so severe. That is why he just plans to gather some information about how exactly his ability works. As soon as the cuffs are off, Akira tries activating the cannon ability based on his teammate's conviction, but it doesn't happen. So he turns around and tells Madoka that he let down the team by losing, so he needs to be punished. Akira is able to activate his cannon ability this time and fires a dummy shot near Madoka, who is irritated by his actions. Akira realizes that his abilities will activate only against the person he is directly engaging with. He activates his cannon hand against his opponent, who fears that he is going to lose. Akira shoots at him, but he unleashes his ability and disperses his shot as well as the cannon on his hand. As the man gets sidetracked by the girls cheering him on, Akira throws a shoe at his face to test out his abilities and then quickly reaches behind him. He points his cannon at him and tells him to raise his hands. Akira has figured out that he can nullify other people's abilities by touching the ground, but he is close enough to shoot him before he can activate his ability. The man surrenders with that, and Akira walks off the ring, where Madoka is still angry at him. Finally, it is Yuri's turn, and to her utter horror and disgust, her opponent is the stalker who committed double suicide with her in the past. He is glad to meet her here again, but Yuri is raging to beat the shit out of him. The match starts, and the stalker tells Yuri to do whatever she wants to with him because he can harden his entire body. That doesn't make any difference to Yuri, and she punches him with full power. The stalker crashes against the wall and loses the fight instantly. Shin believes that just increasing her strength by 5 times shouldn't lead to that, but Akira tells him that Yuri can increase all her abilities by 5 times, and they can combine together to create monumental results. Just then, Mayon comes there and declares that it is now time for their 3rd game, but before that, the losing team will be punished. The agents also come there, and they blindfold everyone and take them to a separate room. As the blindfolds come off, Akira and his team are shocked to see that they are in a fine dining restaurant. Mion tells them that this is their reward for winning, and the losers will have to wear bunny girl costumes and serve them food. Akira and Madoka eat without care, and Ren tries getting close to Akira, but he doesn't want to do anything with a dangerous woman like her. On the other hand, he seems to be getting close to Yuri, and he even ties his handkerchief around her wrist, which got injured after punching the stalker. After they are done eating, Mion tells them about the 3rd program, and both teams are sent their separate ways. Akira and his team are brought to a room where they are told to separate and follow the paths in front of them. They will receive instructions at the end of the path, which they will have to follow. Madoka and Shin leave first, saying that even though they may be enemies the next time, all of them should survive. Before Yuri can go, Akira tells her that the handkerchief he gave her is really precious to him, so she should definitely survive and return it to him later. She blushes on hearing that and runs away, promising that she will see him later. However, Akira was rizzing her up on purpose as insurance for the future. Akira takes a path, and at its end, he finds a room with a smartphone. His handcuffs are deactivated, and the system announces that he has 100 points right now, and that he has to collect 1,000 points. There is no other explanation beyond this, and then suddenly, the door in front of him opens and leads him outside. There, he learns that he has 30 minutes to knock out as many people in this area as he can, and each victory will grant him 10 points. Akira starts running and searching for targets immediately when suddenly a boy jumps in front of him. Akira is ready to fight when the boy suddenly asks him to stop, insisting that he doesn't want to fight. He reveals that he had set up an ambush so that he could recruit him for their team. Before Akira can understand anything, he finds Yuri running towards him and a bunch of perverts following her. She is relieved to see Akira there and takes shelter behind him, and he is still confused as ever. The perverts declare that they want to recruit newbies like them into Team Red, while the boy earlier was trying to get them into Team Green. He knows that Team Red is a notorious bunch, so he decides to buy time for Akira and Yuri to run away. He uses his ability and turns a stick into a bow that can shoot an infinite number of arrows, but the old pervert from Team Red has the cannon ability. Yuri is shocked to see this and tells Akira that the man has the same ability as him. Thanks to that, everyone believes that Akira has the ability to use the cannon hand as well, and he manifests it by shooting a warning shot at them. He, along with Yuri and the green boy, starts running away, and the red pervert tries shooting him from behind. Akira quickly counters his shot with his own, creating a huge explosion that rattles the area and gives them enough time to run away. The green boy introduces himself as Sato and thanks Akira for saving his life. Akira and Yuri thank him in return and then ask him about the entire business with the red and green teams. He tells them that there are 2 main factions in the 3rd test. The red team is quite dangerous, and their 2 top leaders are powerful, smart, and ruthless. Akira thinks that going to the green team will be a better choice, so he follows Sato to the base of the green team. It is a full-fledged settlement, and there is even a newborn baby there, as his mom was brought in for the project when she was 3 months pregnant. Akira is amazed by how things work out here, and he thinks that to maintain peace and unity for so many superpowered people, the leader of the green team must be strong and wise. Sato leads them to their leader, Udo, who is glad to have 2 new members on their team. He is amazed to learn that Akira has the cannon ability, which is considered an A rank ability. When he learns that Yuri has the ability to quintuple her physical strength, both Udo and Sato freak out because it is an A+ rank ability that can change things in their favor. Akira and Yuri are dumbfounded by their reaction because they are unlike what they thought earlier. Udo then explains that the objective of the 3rd round is to collect 1,000 points by completing various quests. The points can be used as currency to buy pretty much everything. Many people formed small teams to survive in the 3rd round, but soon the red team began expanding its number unnaturally and kidnapping other players without an obvious reason. He explains that the red team doesn't want to move on to the next test, so they have made this area their kingdom. They exploit the weaker players and use them like slaves, and Udo formed the green team to counter their tyranny. He explains that there is also the blue team that maintains neutrality, and their members move only for their individual goals. Udo asks Akira and Yuri to lend him their strengths in fighting against the red team, and Yuri immediately agrees. Akira, however, has other plans. He points his hand at Udo, immediately freaking everyone out. Udo, however, is quite calm, and Akira's cannon doesn't manifest immediately. He is shocked and wonders if this is because of Udo's ability, or if he doesn't truly trust that his ability is canon. Udo tells Akira that taking him hostage would be a nice option for him, and he dares him to shoot if he can handle what happens next. Akira shoots, but his attack is completely nullified by Udo, who just smiles and asks if he is satisfied now. Yuri is angry at Akira, but Udo tells her not to mind it because his ability allows him to block every attack. He thinks that Akira must have wanted to check if he was capable of leading them, and he asks if he passed. Just then, an old lady enters the room and tells Udo that they have many new recruits. This is a good thing for the team, but they don't have enough rooms. So, Akira suggests letting him and Yuri stay in one room. She is blown away by this, and on top of it, she even finds protection in the room they are supposed to share. She wonders if she is finally going to get laid tonight, and Akira says that he has something he really wants to tell her, which further boosts her hopes. Akira hands her a paper slip, and she believes that it is his confession. However, it reads that his true ability is not the canon, but telepathy. Yuri is disappointed, but Akira asks her to try and believe that his ability is telepathy. She tries to accept this sudden revelation, and suddenly, they can communicate mentally with each other. Yuri is really excited by this, but Akira tells her to talk to him only via telepathy now. He wants to tell her something really important and private, but he believes that their room might be bugged on the orders of Udo. Yuri asks him if he doubts the leader, and Akira replies that Udo is a very capable leader, so it is natural for him to keep a close eye on strong newbies like him. He then finally reveals that his real ability is whatever the other person thinks. Yuri can't seem to process it when suddenly their phones ring with a video message from Mayon. She declares that they will have a grand quest to hunt ghouls tomorrow, and they should use it to get as many points as they can. Akira then makes an agreement with Yuri, asking her to keep thinking that his ability is telepathy so that they can stay connected and use other abilities. When he wants to use the canon ability, he will switch his targeted other person to someone else. The next morning, Udo assembles everyone and tells them about the quest. They soon reach the ruins, where Mayon is waiting for them with the ghouls. Akira is shocked to see the ghouls that look exactly like the mummy bastard that attacked him. Mayon declares that each ghoul killed will earn 30 points, and it is forbidden to use their abilities on other participants. With that, she starts the quest, and the ghouls leap at the players. Tanks like Udo block their attacks, while the offensive players take down the ghouls easily. Akira also activates his cannon abilities, using people from the team to activate it, and shoots down the ghouls. Just then, the red team leader, Akane, and the vice leader, Kiro, drive there. They do not plan to take part in the ghoul hunting event, but they still want to defeat the green team. Everyone in the green team retreats as soon as they see them because Udo wants to hide their abilities from them. However, the vicious leaders of Team Red have other plans. The vice leader, Kiro, has an ability called Lone Shark that allows him to forcibly collect debt from people who owe him anything. Using that debt, he sends a bunch of weaklings to face the ghouls, and many of them end up dying. Ringo is also among the victims, but Yuri and Akira save her from being killed by a ghoul. They tell Udo that they should rescue the others too, and he agrees with them. He commands everyone to save the victims, but then Mayon decides to add a fun little twist to the game. She snaps her fingers and releases the boss monster from the ruins, which grabs and kills one of the ghouls as it comes out. Kiro sends some of the victims towards the boss, and one tanker from the green team rushes forward to save them. He is hit away by the boss, and then Akira shoots at the boss before getting hit himself. Udo comes to save him and tells him to run away and rescue other people while he deals with the boss. He knows that using his power will mean that they will lose the biggest trump card they have against the red team, but there seems to be no other choice. The boss attacks him, and Udo activates his ability, Mediator, which allows him to conduct peaceful negotiations with the other party. Using this ability, he can nullify all the damage from the boss. Then he ends his negotiations and reflects all the damage accumulated earlier on the boss, blasting a hole through it. He injures his hand in doing that, and Kiro analyzes his ability too. The green team, however, is overjoyed by their leader's achievement, and they run towards him to celebrate the victory. However, Mayon tells them that the game is not over yet. The defeated boss monster starts eating other ghouls, and the wound in its belly is instantly filled. The boss monster gets up, and Udo tells his team members to forget about him and run away. However, Yuri doesn't want to abandon him, so she runs towards him despite everyone stopping her. She helps Udo by kicking away the boss monster, but it attacks them again. She grabs the leader and jumps to the side, but now they are defenseless. Just then, Akira fires at the boss monster to save them. Mion is amused to see this, and Akira silently swears to clear the game and have a rematch with her. Udo starts scolding the two youngsters for being so reckless, but Akira asks him to leave everything to them. He and Yuri keep attacking the boss monster from both sides as they talk via telepathy, but their attacks do no damage. Akira suddenly comes up with an idea, and he leads the boss monster to the ruins, where he can stay out of everyone's sight. Just as he gets there, he gives Yuri the cue to do her part. The boss monster hits him, and everyone thinks that he died. However, when the dust clears, Akira is perfectly fine, and he shoots his cannon inside the boss monster's mouth, blowing its head off. Yuri is really glad that he survived, so she hugs him. But then, suddenly, the boss monster starts getting up again. They are both nervous now, but then, suddenly, the leader of the red team, Akai, comes there and tears away the head of the boss monster with a single person. He remarks that Akira and Yuri are an entertaining pair and begins laughing. Yuri is furious that he has the audacity to laugh after letting so many people die. She attacks him, but he simply blocks her kick and slams her to the ground. Akira and Udo come to back her up, but before anyone can take another step forward, Mion fires a warning shot. She comes in between them, declaring that this quest is still not over, and they are not allowed to fight each other. However, she is also excited about the idea of letting the green and red teams fight to their heart's content, so she suggests that they have a special quest exclusively for both teams. She says that it will be a team event where both teams have to hunt down the leader of the enemies by stealing their device and syncing it with their own. Akai likes the idea and asks Kiro what he wants. Kiro says that if they are going to fight an all-out war, he wants the reward to be great too. He wants everyone on the green team to die if the red team wins, and Mion likes the idea. Udo tries to protest, saying that it is unfair, but Mion doesn't listen to his words. She declares that the special game of Hunt the King will take place 7 days from now when everyone from both teams is in fighting condition. Akira and the others retreat to the green team's base, and the injured are given immediate treatment. After getting patched up, Udo calls Akira to his office, where he asks him about his real ability. He certainly saw him getting hit by the boss monster earlier, and wants to know how he survived. Akira tells him that his ability is not the canon, but he refuses to reveal any more of his secrets. However, he promises that he will use his ability to crush the red team. Outside, one of the girls goes to collect firewood, but she runs into a member of the red team. Luckily, Shin arrives there to save her, and the girl leads him back to the base. Everyone is on edge as they see the powerful looking guy enter the base, but Akira and Yuri recognize him and assure everyone that Shin is a good guy. Udo also comes out to welcome him when suddenly Mion makes an announcement for everyone to hear. She tells them about the quest in 7 days that will decide which team will survive and which will die. Udo tells everyone that while the quest poses great risk, it is also a great chance to get rid of the red team and turn things around like they were supposed to. However, Akira believes that the most dangerous person in the red team is Kiro, who managed to manipulate Mion into agreeing to his conditions to kill everyone. To all Leaf Village ninjas. That is it for today. Recap, do not forget to join our clan, our army, my friend. You can do that by clicking that red button below the video, destroy it for me with that bell. To follow us in YouTube with many videos to come in the following days. So see you later, bro. Peace out.